one of the things we've been working up to throughout this level is movable bar chords. We've played some smaller bar chords previously, but now we're going to get into the full 6-string bar chords that you've heard so much about. Bill, you showed me an exercise once, and we've included it here in the book. It's on page 32, so they can follow along. Maybe you could explain your exercise for developing the bar.
Sure. The concept behind the exercise is developing the strength in the index finger, which is going to be doing the bar. And when you use the bar, it can be all 6 strings, it could be 5, it could be 4, 3, 2, or 1. And there's a little bit of difference between barring 2 strings or 3 strings or the entire guitar. So this really kind of illustrates how to do it. Now, what's important, it's a little more difficult to create a bar in the first position. So by starting in the 5th position, which is your first finger in the 5th fret, I'll be able to play just 1 note.
And that's our second dot.
That's our second dot, exactly.
5th fret, second dot. Okay.
And that would be, so the concept behind this is to play 1 note and then practice shifting up 1 position, and we're going to play 2 notes. So we just add a note each time. And this doesn't happen overnight. There's no magic wand for bar chords. You just really have to work at it. So the other thing that's really critical is when I get 2 notes, I don't want to lose this nice shape in the hand. So I'm going to take my tip joint and just flatten it out a little bit. This is called collapsing the tip joint. And if I do that for the second, where I get 2 notes, there's the flat fingering right there, and then I'm getting a good sound. And just like when we talked about how do you play a note, you're right behind the bar. And then 3,
I mean, you're right behind the fret.
Fret, bar.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
The bar is behind the fret, yeah.
Yes,
And then with 3, the tip joint would be collapsed. And then when I go into 4 strings, I'm going to flatten the finger out. And I'm going to roll it just a little bit because this side of the finger has a little more corpulence to it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it'll let you get, so for the 4 strings, and then I'm over here, 5 strings using the same, just rolling that finger a little bit. Now the thumb is right behind that finger to be able to get enough pressure. Now, let me just run the exercise for you. So in this case, it's 4 notes on each one. And I think there's a little, now here's the 2 notes, the dyad, and then 3 notes, and then we're going to 4 with a full bar, 5, and now we hit all 6. And we're coming back down, 5, down to 4, 3, and I've got a little bit collapsing, 2 with a collapse, and then the 1. And then you may want to shake your hand out after all, you know, doing all these bar exercises. And it takes, you know, you have to get the strength in, and you want to get behind it. Now the other thing, your joints of your fingers, you want to get them between the strings. And if there's a string right between the joint, it's a little harder to press. So when you line them up, and if you look at your knuckles, they should be somewhere between the strings. Now, I'll see a lot of young guitarists will do this. They hyperextend the finger, and it's real hard to get a good sound that way. So really, the tip should just extend a little bit over the neck of the guitar, and that's a real good warm-up and one to play.
Great warm-up. And that was on their page 32?
Correct.
Couple of little things they could do. Now, you already mentioned it's important to turn the finger a little. And as you were saying, the reason for that, this part of the finger right here is the softest part. Being that it's the softest part, it might not hold the string to the neck as well as if I pivot a little so that instead of the string lying right here on the softest, it lies here where it's a little bonier, a little less flesh, and that actually helps all of us actually, hold the string down, and so that they all make a sound. Sometimes you have another finger available to lie on top of the first finger, but very often you won't have that. If you do, you can reinforce, but depending on the chord form, you might not have that finger available.
And you could actually start this up if a little bit, you know, on the 7th fret, And then
Might be a little
it uses the
easier.
same. It's a little bit easier because you're in the middle of the neck.
Right. Yeah, the strings are softest in the middle of the neck. If you do these chords down here, they're just harder. There's more string tension to have to overcome. So work through those bar exercises, and then we'll introduce the true bar chords.